Well, hey, listen, I want to welcome everybody to the DPJ Show, episode 1. I'm excited. I'm excited to be doing this. My life has been such a amazing journey that I've been on. I've had highs and lows, and God has really held me and kept me along the way. So I'm excited to have this platform just to connect with you and talk through issues that we have going on in our community and our world. Sometimes it'll be serious, sometimes it won't. We're gonna have guests on here, some pastors, some athletes, some politicians, just people who are productive in their field. I plan to have some people here who could speak to a gang culture of people as well. So a lot of different things. I have always been the kind of person that you can never really put me in a box, so to speak. I was never all the way in or all the way out, growing up. So I always had one foot in the streets over here, but one foot in basketball over here, and I made good grades, so I was able to hang out with this group of people. I was always that kind of person. I want to be able to touch on things from all of those different aspects, and I want us to be able to have dialogue and, it be edifying. It builds us up instead of tears us down. Because right now we're under this place where, and I was always the person, you could hear me say it in sermons, that I'm not a fan of social media. I'm not a fan of, the internet. So a platform that the enemy uses to divide people, my goal is to use it so that we can speak to one another truthfully about the way we feel about certain issues. We had an election about 2 weeks ago here in Illinois for governor. And some people just began to stick their political chest out again. And it just took me back to 2020 when, I watched people who really, truly care about each other just rip each other apart based on red or blue. And so I got those same feelings, and I'm praying, Lord, not again. Don't let them rip each other apart again based on red and blue. I saw families of people stop talking based on an election. I pride myself on being, how do you say it? The kids call it purple now, but independent. I don't put myself, I don't tag into any red or blue politically. I'm purple. So, I take both candidates, look at them. What are the issues that I'm most concerned about? And I do it that way. But, there's some people vote red or blue no matter what. And I've just never been that type of person. So we'll be able to talk about that and go into some details of some things that are happening politically. We know that the former president, Donald Trump, decided he's running in 2024. I don't know if that makes you happy. I don't know if that angers you. But, I have friends who are Republican, and they've already started to, the devil's already started to put Republican against Republican. So that's going to be a fight in and of itself before we even get to the presidential election, because you're going to have pro-Trump people, pro-DeSantis people. They're going to be at each other's throats. Why? We've gotten really sensitive, and I think we've gotten sensitive because we haven't been able to communicate correctly. See, the problem is that I want to be right. Okay, Darrell wants to be right. But not only do I want to be right, but I want you to tell me that I'm right. as well. I want both of those things. And we've just gotten really selfish where people can't speak to us. People can't say something to us without us catching feelings. But we have to be able to do that, because if we don't, we're not growing. If your circle, your group of people that you're with regularly, if everybody thinks the same way about politics, religion, money, style of dress, if everybody thinks the same about those things, then how are you growing? You can't possibly be growing, because our growth comes from getting fed from something different, something other than what we think as humans in our bubble. So we have to be able to stretch ourselves if we want to grow. But that takes being able to listen to the views of others. And, my prayer is that we don't do each other like we did in 2020. As a people, the enemy was able to just section us off, and he was able to tear a lot of people down that way. So all of my friends who get a political fire when it's like a time like this, and I just tell them, just be careful the way that you articulate your views, because your view may be right on something, but the way you articulate it makes the person who you're trying to explain your position to not even want to hear you, and so then we get these, this division, this divisiveness amongst people of your own family. So if you're that type of person politically, and we all have our thing that can really get us going, if that is you, the first thing we got to do when when something makes our pride come out, and Lord knows I've been tested in this arena, but we have to own it. We have to say, hey, I know that this gets me prideful and riled up, and just be prayed up about it, prayed up that the Holy Spirit will announce it to you before it even happens, that you're going to begin to get prideful about something, and then grab hold of that thing and just don't become prideful. And you'll see that when you do, the doors are open for communication and dialogue. Because what the enemy has done is divide us in so many different ways, because the enemy knows that a house divided will fall. But if we were all united in the front, we can stand. But really, all the enemy has to do is get us to rip one another apart. So, we don't want to do that. We want to be people who are willing to grow, willing to learn, and willing to be the very best version of ourselves at all costs. And that takes some pain. Anytime something is growing or changing from who he used to be to who he is now, who she used to be at 15 to who she is at 25, we're breaking through certain barriers, and that hurts. Growing hurts. I remember growing up, my knees would start hurting when I was beginning to hit a growth spurt. My knees would start hurting. There's a lot. It takes a lot of fortitude and strength for a baby to be born. The baby's so comfortable inside the womb. The temperature's perfect, fed, you just sleep all the time, maybe roll over, but it's warm. And then you see the baby gets too big though and outgrows that space. And so when you begin to outgrow certain spaces and you're right there, we hold ourselves back by not being willing, being willing to listen to the way others view things. So we keep ourselves locked in this bubble. And when the baby's being born, the mom has to force him out and the doctor has to pull him out. I feel like that sometimes too when when I know I'm being called to something else, but I know that when I'm called to this level, it's going to require this type of faith. It's going to require this type of discipline. So what we do to protect ourselves from that, because for some reason, we don't like things that are hard anymore. We don't like things that may cause us some pain or discomfort. Listen, I get it too, but it takes a willingness to be able to do that so that we can grow. And once you're out of that level, you can look back and say, I'm glad I made it through that. That was the way I thought back then. That was my process of dealing with people back then. I'm going to have some conversations with some people who think a lot different than I think. One of my really, really good friends, we call each other brothers because we were together every day in our teens, early 20s. We talk every single day. We're from the exact same place, a block away. And we think differently on like 50% of things. And, you'll get to see our dynamic is different because he's a really passionate person. And, real passionate people, they're driven emotionally. So he can get going about something before we even have all the facts and all the details. He knows that we're ready, where I'm more laid back, and sometimes he's right, but he just, he saw it a lot quicker than a person like me who will dial it back, wait till everything comes out, then, react to it. So we see things differently a lot of times. But he's my brother, and you'll get to see us go back and forth the correct way and still love each other. We should be able to disagree on certain things and still remain connected, still remain in relationship. I just feel like that's what we're called to do. We're going to have some athletes on the show as well, just to be able to speak to, the grind of sports. Because like we look at sports as entertainment, when professional athletes, this is their job. So like I may go play basketball when, I want to get a workout in, or somebody needs me to sub in a league or something like that. I'll go hoop. But that's if I want to. Just like some days you wake up and don't want to go to work. Sometimes professional athletes don't want to go play ball. They don't want to go swim. They don't want to go do these things. So just that different viewpoint, because, the way we look at it is, you give me $1 million, I'll be the runningest, fastest, up and down the court. You won't even hear from me. I'm not going to argue. But that's not the life that they really live, So I plan to have a couple local politicians that I know, hopefully a couple officers that I know we could get to come through, because I'm a person that, there is a person who's not good at their job, no matter what profession you're in. There is some doctors who don't do their job well. There's some pastors who don't do their job well. There's some lawyers who don't do their job well. There's some nurses who don't do their job well. And there's some policemen who don't do their job well. We're all people. We're all people. We all have frailties, but one man's frailty could manifest as something small, where this man's frailty can manifest as something larger. But we want to be able to have dialogue with everybody. So some of my homies are police officers, real dope people. We'll talk to them because they're up against it too. And I have a lot of police in my family too. So I've always loved police. Yes, there's some bad people in every profession on earth. There's bad pastors. I'm a pastor. So here we don't do that. There's a little bit of evil in every occupation on the globe. Amen. So it's just going to be a great show. I really truly feel blessed. My journey, is pretty lengthy. I was born on the west side of Chicago. Then we moved to Harvey, to Dixmoor. If y'all know about Harvey, Dixmoor, 147 Sibley Boulevard. I lived in Robbins, 137th and Hamlin. But I grew up in a town called Sauk Village, which was about 20 miles south of Chicago, between 15 and 20 miles, and lived there for the majority of my life. And I moved out of, the city and the surrounding suburbs in 2008. And I live a little more further south now. But Chicago, born and raised, I went through a lot in my late teens, early 20s. I always knew that I wanted to be a pastor, and I wanted to be the type of pastor that could reach and touch everybody in different locations and from different demographics and different backgrounds. So it's a truly a blessing if you know me and you know my story, and you guys will know, more of my story eventually, but it's a blessing that I'm even sitting here. I feel blessed that you all are allowing me to even speak into your day is a blessing. So, I'm praying for you, but we just have to remember when we're going to grow, it's going to take some difficulty. It's going to take some pain, just like when and let me see, we have about 40 days till the beginning of the year. And you know what that means. The gym is going to be full. Everybody's going to the gym. Y'all going to be out there taking gym selfies. What's it called? The day one gym selfie. I'm back on it. And I hope that you do. I hope you stick to your workout plan. I hope you stick to your healthy eating habits this year, because I believe a lot of this illness and sickness that we have on this earth amongst human beings comes from what we eat and the things that are in what we eat. But I ain't gonna put that on y'all on Thanksgiving, because I know we just, listen, we clowned. So I'm not gonna put that on you, but we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the food that Adam and Eve ate in the garden versus the food that we go into Kroger and buy. And, the differences and things like that. Because I like science, I like history, I like to see how God moved through everything. And so I like issues that we have to go back and try to figure out, why do we do this now, but we didn't do this then. I like the context of things. And the more you get to know me, you'll know that I want everything. I want to know the context of it. Okay, Mikey did that. Cool. But what happened to make Mikey act like that? What happened to make Mikey believe that way? And it always comes back. I started writing a book. I'll just say the name, called Deception, Volume 1. And it talks about the way that the trickery of the enemy in our lives to try to hinder our blessings that can't be stopped is he'll do something to us while we're young, usually in the form of somebody doing something to us when we're young, or something really traumatic when we're young, to try to detour our thought process. And so, I just want to be very cautious, about that. And so in the book, it takes three young people, through life and the twists and turns that their lives take based on bad decisions, but their bad decisions stem from trauma from when they were younger. So Mikey did that, yes, but what was going on to make Mikey react like that? I like the context of things because you get a better picture of it. I feel like if I have more information, somebody can't spin me as easy. We live in a day and age where we have information at our fingertips. We're pumped with a lot of information on a daily basis, more information than we were even supposed to get. And we wonder why everybody's anxious. We're anxious because, we have our device in our hand at all times, and we're getting dopamine hits anytime we wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and you got to hit your phone first just real quick to get a quick dopamine hit before you go to the bathroom. We're getting stuff pushed to us. So I just believe that, what the enemy does is he'll take a little bit of truth and wrap it up in lies. So the person can always go back to that one truth. Well, yes, that guy did say that, no context, and then just wrap it up in a bunch of lies and push it out to us. And, if we don't know what we're looking for, if we don't know what propaganda is and what that is, we'll believe everything. And that's why I don't put myself in the box of red or blue, because you have somebody on this side saying one thing, the other person on this side saying something completely opposite. Why do two humans think completely opposite? Well, it's information that they've been given, either growing up or now they're voting age, so they're getting it from the media, they're getting it from their parents. How our parents could have been taught wrong? You know what I mean? Like, if they're saying two totally different things, then somebody ain't right. So somebody was taught some things that are contrary, but they're probably both equally as wrong. We don't know. We don't get to see that side of things, but we'll tear people down based on what we don't know, and I just hope that we can grow from it. People will be back at the gym, and they'll be the first thing you got to do when you're back in the gym. You got to rip your muscles apart. You got to rip them apart. And that comes with some pain, and then they heal, and it's a little bit of growth. And you got to keep doing that. But we want to level up. We can have differences of opinion. I play a game called 2K. If you play 2K and you think that's what you want, I send my Xbox handle, and we could get to it. But I'm in a 2K league with some guys, and we think so much alike. But we care about each other. If somebody needs something, you got it. What happened there? You need prayer, you got it. This is going on here. Call this person, you got it. We care about each other dearly, think completely differently. I hope that, we're all on different parts of the United States. And so, but I hope that we come together and y'all get to hear the way we bounce ideas and the way we talk to each other, because we think totally different, but they make me level up. They make me better. They pour into me. Yeah, we get after each other. It can get up there, but for the most part, we just bounce ideas off of each other because we think differently. We think differently politically. Our professions are different. We all love sports though. But we have to start finding a common ground instead of, what can make me your enemy, So we're going to talk about men and women. I know so many people my age, early 40s, really good people. Nice people, hardworking people, trustworthy people, and they're single. And so it just makes me, think to myself, and I ask questions to people that I trust. Hey, let me holler at you. Let me ask you this. So I ask the single people, picture the person that you would want to marry. Picture them. Picture what they look like. Picture their career choice. Picture how they keep their house. Picture them. And so they do. And I said, okay, now think about your attributes to bring to the relationship. Do you feel like you're the kind of person that that person is looking for? Sometimes they say, yeah, and I'll be like, cool. As, most of the time they're like, I don't know. Okay, well, what is it that you think that person's looking for that you may not have? And then I say, okay. And so my point is that they'll always say something like, well, I wouldn't have enough money yet. Well, I don't have this degree yet. Cool, have aspirations, but you could be that person's type. But that type of person doesn't run in the circles that you run in. So you automatically assume that that type of person and that circle is too good for you. And really, they're not too good for you. You just don't know how to navigate in that lane yet. I tell single people all the time who are looking for somebody, go back to school. Go back to school, because there'll be people there who are heading and pushing in the same direction that you are. But when I want to talk about why they can't seem to get together, and I know that starting over and getting in a relationship when you're in your 40s, usually comes with kids, a lengthy past of a marriage, and all that kind of stuff that the enemy uses to keep people and tell people that they're not good enough. That type of person wouldn't want to be with you. No, that's not true. You just don't know how to navigate your way over there yet. So I want to talk about that. There's been a big movement about women being devalued and things like that. I want to get some ladies' opinions on that, how they feel treated by people around them. Could be at work, could be at home, but we all the fellas know we love y'all ladies. We know that God looked down on us and said it is not good for him to be alone. I'm going to send him a helpmate. God made women because we weren't good without them. When God decided he was going to step down out of heaven to earth, he came through a woman. He could have came any way he wanted, but he came through a woman. Women have great insights, fellas, and they can finish our thoughts in their head and help us mold them the right way. When you find somebody who has the same type of character that you have and things like that, you'll really be able to trust them and flow with them. But it just seems hard for people once they get our age, because the enemy can hold you back based on your past, but you have to release that stuff, because God's got somebody for y'all, and I know the wait is long, the wait is lengthy, but don't sacrifice yourself in that wait, and pay attention to those red flags. And I know people like to say, no, you should give a person a chance. Listen, you've been through so much in your life that the things that you can't deal with. When you see a red flag, women have intuition. I call it, that the Holy Spirit is just speaking, saying, hey, you saw what he did. He's gonna do that again. Or you saw what she did. Now, she just told you the same thing the last one told you, stuff like that. You play with that red flag long enough, it'll end up, in your front yard, and now it's yours to keep because, you said, no, it'll be different this time. I'm gonna help them. I'm gonna change them. You can't change somebody, You just can't. All you'll do is make them put a mask on over their face until they lock you in, and then they take the mask off, and now this is the person that you've decided to walk a life with. So pay attention to that stuff. You know, but we're going to talk about those things. We're going to touch on those things. You know, I'm excited to be before you. I'm excited to be doing this. I hope that everybody had, you know, a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. And, you know, I just want to leave you with this. I just want you to think about this. You cannot make progress and make excuses at the same time. It's got to be one or the other. You can make excuses or you can make progress. And I want us to make progress in 2023. I want us to stick to the things that we said we were going to do at the beginning of the year. If it's a character thing, if it's you know, an issue you've been having lately, I want us to stick to, you know, those things. Well, that's all I got for you. I cannot wait to talk to you. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, you know, so we can have some dialogue. Tell me what you want to talk about. And, you know, I'm just excited. You know, that's the D Philly Show, episode 1. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving.